I've spent a lifetime on stage, in the studio, and on the road, singing songs about heartbreak and hope and faith and family. Night after night, I stood under the bright lights, and you've given me the honor of sharing my story with you. And as seasons change, and platforms do too, we've gone from vinyl to cassettes, from CDs to streaming. The stories of the road and the songs still matter. And the voices of the next generation, well, they've got fire, they've got heart, and there's something the world needs to hear. So today we're passing the mantle, the mic, and our experiences from one generation to the next. The conversation continues. The reason we're here this third Sunday of the month this time is to celebrate some of the victories of one of our own. This gentleman right here, I knew him as a young man, the son of Stacy Barnhill. We may talk a little bit about Stacy in a little bit. And Stacy was a guitar slinger all through Texas, and he had great success in his own right with his own career as a singer-songwriter. And this young man has followed in his footsteps, and he received some mentoring from some folks locally of significance, and we'll talk about that during the podcast. But I want you to welcome this amazing singer-songwriter, and we'll talk about his label. But anyway, this is a major label recording artist, Braedon Barnhill.
All right.
Well, Braedon, because you are a little bit younger than our first two guests by maybe 3 generations, I want to ask you something about your career, and I know some of it because I saw some of it as you were growing up. But how old were you when you realized that you wanted to be a musician, you wanted to be a songwriter?
I feel like most kids kind of are like, oh, I want to be a rock star, or whatever it is that when you're really young. But I thought probably around 17, I was like, okay, I think I can actually do this probably professionally. I thought I was semi good enough at that point to do it. And also when you're 17, you think you're invincible. So I was like, yeah, I can definitely do this. Yeah. But you get humbled really quick when you first start doing it. But that was about it, 17, 18.
That's really young to really know that this is what you wanted to do. I think I was a little bit older when I finally realized that, no, this is what I want to do. I have a question that's one of your family members told me about when you were 3 or 4 years old, that you had a little guitar in hand, and you would appear at the shows of your dad, Stacy Barnhill. And do you remember that little guitar that you used to play?
I still have it. You autographed it. Yeah, I have it in my closet. Yeah, it's like this big. Yeah. And I don't know if you did or someone else, but there's a $5 bill on the inside of it. I was like, I don't know who gave me that. They might have given me that to give to you, and I was like, I'm gonna put that in this guitar. Yeah. Keep this for later.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, your family has been a big part of your life. Obviously, we mentioned your dad, Stacy Barnhill, and Stacy was going to be here, but there's been some flooding in his attic, and he thought he could tend to it and have it all taken care of in time for today, and he couldn't be here. So I know that he regrets that he couldn't be here. But there was a gentleman in your, I guess it was Mada's dad, M.E. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about the relationship you had with M.E.?
I was so young that the main stuff, I mean, of course, we were over at his house all the time growing up. My older sister remembers a lot of it. I remember we rode around. He had like a scooter that he would ride around on, and we would just it was like me, him, and 2 chihuahuas. We'd just take on the world. We went everywhere on that thing. Yeah, and stealing rocks from his yard. Those are the 2 highlights. We'd steal the crystals in his garden.
Well, apparently he learned some of your songs, and he would rewrite your songs that you sang in those days and just make you laugh and laugh to your side hurt. But anyway,
yeah,
that's one thing that Mada has shared with me, and of course, there have been quite a few things that over the years that I've been wanting to ask you, because
when I first started on this journey, I was probably 22 and already a graduate from college, and already I was already enrolled in the University of Arizona, and I was studying to get my master's in journalism. Who needs a master's in journalism? And that's what I soon realized when I was in Tucson. But this songwriting thing just kept pulling at me, and I remember the advisor at the University of Arizona brought me to his office, and he says, "I have a feeling that you're spending more time songwriting and staying out and performing." He says, "I know because I see your name all over Tucson." He said, "I think that's what you really want to do." And he says, if you can convince me that you really want to get your master's in songwriting, then I'll support you and I'll help you in any way. And I remember that thinking at that point, yeah, he's probably right about that. And I remember at that time I had a few songs that I still play. One called "Rainy, Rainy Clouds," about those days in Tucson, Arizona, when it just rained and rained during the monsoon season. And I still play that. What is a song that you still play today that was from your early days? And if you don't mind sharing that with the audience and introducing that, I would love that.
Really, I mean, it's still my biggest song is "Oklahoma." I wrote that when I was freshman in college, senior in high school. It was like that summer. My girlfriend at the time, it was kind of like the turkey season breakups, as they call it, where that second season of your senior year, everyone's kind of like, all right, none of us are going to the same college. What are we doing right now? Like, no one wants to go into college in a relationship. So I remember we broke up, and even though it was on pretty good terms, I was still pretty hurt about it and upset about it. And she was going to Oklahoma for college, and I wrote that, and that was the first song I wrote that anyone ever actually was like, oh, I like that one. Those first couple songs are pretty rough. But that was the first one that people seem to like. People still like it. So, yeah.
Do you mind sharing that with our guests here? I'd love it if you would.
This one's called "Oklahoma."
The day would never come. See your bags are packed and your mind ain't changed. This hotel's all empty and lets me know you're really gone. Can't help but feel all this pain. So why'd you go to Oklahoma? Don't you know the stars are saying as bright? And why'd you leave me here in Houston? Missing you tonight. No, it ain't got the feel of Austin. It ain't got the look of setting sun. So why'd you go to Oklahoma when Oklahoma ain't your home? I know you think it's over now, but for me it ain't as over as you think. It's hard to watch you letting go when I'm still holding on yesterday. I see you chasing dreams, girl, and I hope you find all them and more. But for me there's no need to search. You're everything I've been looking for. So why'd you go to Oklahoma? Don't you know them stars are saying as bright? And why'd you leave me here in Houston? Missing you tonight. No, it ain't got the feel of Austin. It ain't got the look of setting. So
Drew when I wrote this next part.
I bet you're sitting in a bar somewhere in still water and they're playing this song. Your mind starts to wonder why you ever left home. Wish you would have thought it over, now you're all alone. Up in Oklahoma, where the stars are saying as bright, and I'm sitting here with John Arthur Martinez, getting over you tonight. No, it ain't got the feel of Austin. No, it's too dang far from saying this song. So why'd you go to Oklahoma? When Oklahoma, oh, when Oklahoma ain't your home.
I've always loved that song, and from when you first played it for me, I started inviting you to come do some of my song swaps in the area, and I know you've played at Fiesta Jam over the years, so. And that is your new single, your latest single, and that is on Big Machine. And you guys, I want to tell you, please listen to it, stream it, and share it. And that's how we help lift each other up. So I want to remind you all to do that. I have a question that our sound check reinforced this question, but I asked your dad if there's something unique about you that most people don't know, and he said, well, people don't realize that you only heard about 30% in each year.
Well, I have about 40% hearing loss in both years, yeah. Uh-huh.
He was close on the percentage.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
And how that is just amazing to me that you become a professional musician and you're signed to a major deal with hearing loss, so he's like I know some folks that acquired hearing loss after 28 years on
I'm sure it's added to it for sure. It's probably about 45% now at least. Yeah.
Well, we were traveling through I think we were in Austria when the guitar player in my band he started playing these frequencies, and I was the first one to say anything. I said, this was the first tour that we were doing in Europe, and I said, what is that sound? I said, it's like, I hear this ringing, and Chris Reeves, the guitar player from Burnet, Texas, a great guitar player and fiddler and harmony singer. He didn't say anything at first, but then about 5 minutes later, somebody else says, "I hear it now. I can hear it now. It says ringing." Yeah. And he kept going through the frequencies. He started like at 1600 hertz, yeah. And then he started coming down to see where we could hear it. And I could hear the much earlier than the older seasoned musicians in the band because that's what the road life does. It takes some of our hearing. And so has it hindered you in the studio, or is it anything like that?
No, I mean, the studio, it's worse than normal. For shows like this, usually musicians blare this speaker right here so you can hear. And I tell them in the studio or when I'm playing live, I almost have it off. I'm like, that's what it sounds like normally. Like, if I can actually hear my voice, usually it throws me off. I don't know. Usually it's the polar opposite. People just blare their monitor even more. But I'm like, I don't know. I've always been used to it, and so I never knew any different, because it's very gradual. It's not just like, for some people they just wake up and they're deaf, some genetic thing or something. But for me, it was always just gradual when I was a kid, and it kind of stopped getting worse when I was like 10 years old. And so I've always I've always gotten used to it, So, but also you don't know what you don't know. So.
Well, like you probably know B.B. Morris, the bass player that has played with so many people, Willie and Waylon, and he was on that tour with us. And B.B. didn't hear that frequency ringing until we got down to about 8,000 hertz.
Yeah, those guys, yeah, in the 70s were, in the 80s were.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that we do the sound check, and he kept going, more, please, more, please. The next thing you know, the on-stage volume is crazy.
That was like a thing in the 70s. I remember it was almost like a statement of how loud your like Ted Nugent would like, whatever the sound engineer was like, you need 70,000 decibels. He'd be like 140,000 for the show, and like, of course, he's paying for it now, but I'm lucky that's gone away.
Well, so you don't set yours on 11 like they do at Spinal Tap.
No, right, yeah.
So I keep going back to your dad, Stacy, but I'm just curious. I know on your new record you did something that it is not only honorable, but you did it because of the quality. There's several songs that you've written with your dad that are on the new record.
Yes. Yeah.
And can you talk about some of those and?
Yeah, I mean, well, like when you first sign a record deal, usually like you're actually signed for like a year, years before they even announce it to the public. So I was signed for like a year and a half before they even like did the press release this past year. And like what they're doing once you're actually signing the dotted line. Fun fact, also in the picture where everyone's like smiling, you're signing, that's just a blank piece of paper. Yeah, that I always thought that was really funny. Like they don't even print out the contract. It's like, there's a reason you hold the paper up so they can't see it. It's weird. Anyways, but they're just kind of like getting you ready for that big step. So for that first year and a half, they had me going up to Nashville a week, 2 weeks, a month, sometimes more. And all that was just writing. They just have you in the room. You look up their names and they'll have 20 number one hits. Just that's all they do all day is just write songs. They write like 200 to 300 a year, you know, and they're great at it. But it was weird that after doing that for a year, still 80 to 90% of the ones that the label liked were just ones I wrote with my dad. So there almost came to a point where they're like, all right, you're not going to come up here that much because we're wasting money doing this. You can just do this in your garage, you know, with your dad. So that's what I started doing.
I think that's beautiful because that's the real you.
Yeah,
I think it's beautiful. And is there a favorite one that you've written with your dad that you would like to share with us? I'd love to hear one.
Yeah. Let me see. It's hard because, like I said, probably 90% of the songs I've written with my dad, I could really play anything. But, this is really hard because, like I said, I've written every single song with my dad. I'll do this one. This one's called Front Porch Lights.
I'm right around town tonight, get lost in the county signs. Tell me that I'm always no good. One second I couldn't sleep, now I'm turning on down your street, thinking about turning back and I probably should. I know it's late, I hope I didn't wake you, didn't come to find. I bet you're wondering why I'm standing in your front porch in the middle of the night, so you never see me again. I never meant to, I wanna give it a one more try. So I'm standing in your front porch light, freeze to death in this Texas wind, would it kill you to let me in? This past couple months I've been a wreck, hating myself thinking about you and all the hell that I put you through. You never really had me at my will. I know it's late, I didn't wanna wake you, but I couldn't sleep. Baby, listen to me, I'm standing in your front porch in the middle of the night, so you never see me again. I never meant, I wanna give it a one more try. So I'm standing in your front porch light. Talk to me, baby, what's good or bad. Till you bite your lips like that, and I know right where we're standing in your front porch in the middle of the night. So we never do this again. We never meant to. So come on, let's give it a one more try. Say goodbye. Let's give it one more try. We're standing in your front porch light.
So we talked about your biggest mentor being your dad, but there's also another mentor that lives close to Marble Falls, Texas. And of course, part of Songwriters Meetup is we're celebrating all of the wonderful singer-songwriters and songwriters who came before us. And there were some great ones that, when I was first out of college, I started a concert series with a guy named Floyd Tillman. And Floyd Tillman's songs were recorded by, gosh, so many people. And even recently, I found a cool recording of John Prine covering a Floyd Tillman song. And I thought, wow, amazing. But of course, Willie, he and his wife set up a Montessori school in Marble Falls, and Mike Blakely, a great writer, has written over 16 albums himself of original music, and Gary P. Nunn was our very first podcast guest. All of these legends that have come before us, and just on the outer reaches of Burnet County, in Lago Vista, is a fellow named Drew Womack, another one of these great musicians. And those of you who don't know Drew, he was the band leader for Sons of the Desert. And now he's the front man and the band leader for a band called Lone Star. Pretty good. So I'm just curious, how did you get in touch with a guy like that? Did he find you? Did you find him? How did you connect with Drew?
I think he hit up my dad. This was during COVID, and I wasn't doing it professionally yet. And I was still, I was a freshman in college, and so I was still doing the school thing, and I was writing songs and just I was just kind of trying to figure it out. I didn't know exactly. I was still at that phase where I knew I could do it probably, and it's what I wanted to do, but it's scary putting that foot forward and kind of leaving school behind, like, as you know. And I think I was just posting clips of my songs on social media, and I think he hit up my dad, because him and my dad kind of knew of each other. They never really talked, but they'd shared the stage with each other and stuff. And he asked my dad if I was really writing songs or my dad was writing them for me. And my dad was like, no, he's really writing them. And we had a Zoom call or two, and then we started co-writing, and it kind of took off. He's pretty much, he told my parents, like, he needs to stop going to school. He's wasting his time. So I'm grateful for that. That was a good call on his part. But because my parents were very like, you're gonna finish school. And then one day, I remember my dad being like, I don't care if you're as big as George Strait, you're getting your bachelor's degree. And I was like, okay, I'm getting this degree, and or hunker down for 4 years. But my dad, people always, being a musician, they'll make the joke and be like, oh, how do your parents feel about it? And I'm like, they're the ones that told me to drop out, buddy. So it's it was a good call. And I think he probably made the right call. I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
might have to go back to school someday.
Absolutely. In your case, it was the right call. And those of you, we're going to get to this part of the conversation where we talk about Big Machine, and many of you probably are aware of the fact that Big Machine had some pretty good success stories in the early days. There was that girl that's dating the football player from the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was a pretty good sign for Scott Borchetta, and It'll come back to me in a minute. I'll think of her name in a minute. But anyway, can you tell me something about Scott?
Huh? Yeah, she did all right.
She's doing all right.
Yeah. About Scott?
Yeah.
Would probably throw people off the I mean, the way we met was really weird and out of the movie. I mean, the way I got signed was so weird, and they usually, nowadays, it's not like, I feel like in all the movies, someone will get a call, and they're like, hey, the CEO wants to meet you right away, he found your demo tape, and like, then you like go to this guy and like audition for him, and that, like, slim to none happens nowadays. Usually they wait till you have already like a couple 100,000 followers. They wait till you're already big because there's no money in CD sales and stuff, so they can't take as much of a gamble. So they usually wait till people are pretty big. And so when I got the call that he heard, actually, like in the movies, heard my thing, wanted to meet me, I was like, okay, he's probably gonna, I thought he was just trying to build a relationship. And I was like, okay, he probably just wants to meet, and so if I do get big, he can kind of be like, hey, remember when I flew you out to Nashville? Like, I thought it was that sort of thing. I really did. And then, yeah, I auditioned for him. Super nice, actually. They, like, drove me. I went to his house. They usually go to an office and you, like, meet these guys. It's very formal. They drove me to this guy's house. And next thing I knew, from making that tape, I was sitting in the living room with him and the guy who's now my producer and just playing songs. I mean, he's really friendly. He has a good ear. I mean, you can't argue with that. He has 240 number ones to his name, I think. So he knows what he's doing, you know. So there'll be times where, like anyone, you butt heads, and I'll be like, I think that song's so good. I don't know what he's talking about. Then a month later, I always call him and I'm like, you're right. That song's horrible. I don't know why I sent you that, you know. So he's right, you know. So, and of course, he'll admit it. There's probably some times where he was like, oh, I should have done this or should have. But you can't argue with his success. You know, but he's also like, I didn't expect how soft-spoken and calm and stuff he is. And like, that was what threw me off, because every CEO you see in the movies is like, and he's just like, it's very calm vibe. People, he throws people off when they meet him usually. Yeah. Do
you remember which songs were on those initial recordings?
I remember when I got the call, I planned it. Like, I knew I was going to play. So when I first came in, we talked for a little bit, and then he asked, have you been writing anything recently? And I had just gone through a breakup, so I was like, boy, have I. So yeah, I wrote this one song called, it was Dashboard Dreaming, which is my first single at the label. I played that for him. Yeah, thank you. And I played that song, and I played an upbeat one, because I was like, okay, I want to play him something strong, play him something upbeat, so he knows I can write that, and play him something sad so he knows I can write that. And so then it was Dancing by Myself, which was the second song that I released. And then I think I don't know, it was all kind of a blank. And I know I played him at the end, I played him Oklahoma, and I was so like, you're nervous but you're not, but you're really locked in and concentrated. And so I have my eyes closed the whole time when I'm playing, and I looked up and he had his phone. He was recording me like this. And I was like, either this is going well or I'm bombing out of my mind right now. He's gonna show his friends like, look at this kid. Just like, so I was like, okay, it's going really well or really bad. And then we talked for 2 hours after that. So I was like, okay, this dude's time is money. Who's gonna get this kid out of my sight? Yeah, so I figured it must have gone well. But that was a weird moment seeing that.
Well, I brought that up because I was hoping that you might have mentioned Dashboard Dreaming. Do you mind sharing that one with us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that one that was a co-write also?
I wrote this with my dad, yeah. I wrote this, I was living in San Marcos at the time. And I was not going to school there, but it was such a fun town. I was like, I have to live here. Texas State, come on. No, it really, funny enough, I make that joke, but I never went out the whole time I lived there. Really, almost ever. My buddies need a roommate there, and it's like right in the middle of Texas. I was like, okay, it's 30 minutes to Austin, and it's half the price of Austin living. So I was like, I gotta live here.
You had to have gone to Kent Finley's Songwriters Night a few times.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
yes, I did.
We just lost Todd Snyder, and he was part of every one of those songwriters circles that we did in the early days. Yeah. And so was like Bruce Robinson, Jerry Hendricks. It was just an amazing and exciting time for me, and I love San Marcos. And so anyway, I had to ask you that, did you ever get a chance? Did you come in after Kent had already? I think
his son doing it.
His son was Sterling.
Yeah.
Sterling was a bass player for me. He was also bass player for Todd Snyder too.
Yeah.
But Sterling's a great cat. He's got his act together after all of these years.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't want to interrupt.
I'll
I was just
tell you
curious.
a fun story. You know who's speaking of Cheatham Street, like the famous venue there. Do you know who's banned for life from Cheatham Street no matter what? You know? Sterling told me.
John Arthur Martinez.
Steve Earle.
Oh.
Banned no matter how and him and Sterling are like really good buddies to this day, but his Kent, when Steve Earle was he's still a wild guy, but when he was really wilding out, he no-showed 3 sold-out shows in a row there. And so they would joke that, because Steve Earle, that was when Steve Earle was nobody. And when he kept getting bigger and bigger, he kept joking with Ken, like, now can I play here? I could sell this place out 5 nights in a row. He's like, keeping my word, you never play here again. So yeah. Sterling has some. They brought a horse in that bar. They brought a longhorn in that bar. Hang out with Sterling after Songwriters Night. He'll tell you some wild tales about that place.
I've hung out with Sterling quite a few nights,
Yeah.
including opening for Elton John. But I wrote this song. I was living in San Marcos, and I was dating a girl, and every relationship I'd ever been in was either like mutual or I'd been the one to end it. And I made it till about 2021 to get just royally dumped. And that was such a weird thing to grasp that I feel like most people kind of get earlier in life, and just being like, oh, the person I like really doesn't want me back. And as simple as it sounds, it was so weird to really internalize that. And that same week, it must have been God's plan, because that's really the song that got me signed, was that in Oklahoma. But at the time, I was just like, it was horrible. And I wrote this song because there's like a square of all the college bars in San Marcos, and I would just drive around at night when all my roommates were gone, and I just kind of wanted to be not locked up in my house feeling sorry for myself. I would just drive around that square where everyone's having a good time and just listen to music, and just that's what I was doing. So I wrote this song pretty much about driving around listening to sad country songs. It's called Dashboard Dream. It goes like this.
I'm back out on the road again with nowhere to be, looking over at this empty sea, thinking about the times where it was you and me. We were nothing but young and wild, cruising down these country roads with up down the bend, stopping at the red light where you'd sneak me a kiss. But now you're long gone, so I sit and pretend that we're still chasing miles we could have rode off into the sunset. It's my fault. I say it ain't nothing, but I know we'll never be something ever again. So I'm driving on the interstate late at night, hoping that these roads will answer questions, 'cause I can get you out of my mind. These wheels keep spinning around in my head, dashboard dreaming. I'd pick you up tonight if you would pick up the phone. We'd roll the windows down and take it slow, or push it to the limits till we run out of road. Just tell me where to go. Oh, you were hanging out the side with your hair in the wind, with a gel-like smell. Thought I never would end. Now I'm riding round crying, trying to be someone you'll miss, 'cause we could have rode off into the sunset. It's my fault. I say it ain't nothing, but I know we'll never be something ever again. So I'm driving on 'cause I can get you out of my mind. These words keep spinning around in my head. And lately I've been searching for direction back where we went wrong, trying to find the feeling in these old sad songs, singing along, hoping that I'll see you again. Dashboard dreaming. I'm driving on the interstate late at night, hoping that these roads will answer questions, 'cause I can get you out of my mind. These wheels keep spinning around in my head. And lately I've been searching for direction back where we went wrong, trying to find the feeling in these old sad songs, singing along, hoping that I'll see you again. Dashboard dreaming, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, as I told you earlier, we're doing a Songwriters Meetup, so some of the folks in our audience, well, almost all the folks in our audience are songwriters, so it's kind of a cool thing, and I realize it's the holiday season right now, but do you have any songs that you've written about the holidays or Christmas? Or, I mean, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I was just curious. I know I've got a few that I've written, and
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so hard to do something that hasn't been. It's so hard to do something that hasn't been done. You know, it's like they're all so good. I'm like, how can I outdo "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey? How can I outdo that?
well, I don't think anybody would ever outdo that one.
Yeah.
I saw on 60 Minutes that there was like 8 notes that were used, and it was just a simple scale was usually used. It was usually a major scale, and it was usually a fairly up-tempo song. That, of course, there's some classics that people have written over the years. But before we let you go, I had to also ask you, is there a sneak peek you could give us of the next single that you have that's coming?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact next one, but there's a few that the label feels pretty strongly about. I can definitely do one of those if you want me to.
So I know in the modern ways that you release singles, and in the old days you would do like a 10 or 12 song album, that concept albums like they used to do back in the old days with Jerry Jeff Walker would do those, and Guy Clark, and all of these wonderful Rodney Crowell, all these great singer-songwriters that came before us. But back in the day of Floyd Tillman, they would release singles, and we're kind of going back to those old days when they would just release the singles.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was asking you. But is there any plans to put them all on one album?
Yeah, we're beginning the talks definitely at the top of this year to start putting out a record, probably beginning of summer, end of summer. It's one or the other that they're hoping for. But yeah, I mean, the name of the game is singles until one blows up, and they're like, all right, let's put an album out. But it's just so much has changed now that everything's digital. And people's attention spans. It's like even the length of songs, it's gone down. It was okay if it's 4 minutes, it's good. Then it was like, okay, keep it in 3.5 minutes. That's good as long as it's not 4. And then it was 3, and now like Morgan Wallen, he's the man right now, and when it comes to selling records and whatnot, I mean, his average songs are like 2 minutes 50 seconds. So there's so many different ways that they've taught me to like cut down just little turnarounds and stuff in the songs and little empty spaces. Like almost you have to cut off. There's no guitar solos or anything. They're like, no.
And that's
we're gonna
interesting.
switch, yeah.
Because in the old days, back when they were doing singles before they did albums, they would shorten the songs, because then whenever they imprinted it onto the 45, it would actually be louder. And so when they played it on the jukebox, it'd be louder than any of the other singles. And so, but it's interesting how it's come back to that, and for different reasons.
Yeah.
So that said, is there something that you would like to be one of your next singles, that even though you're not sure that something that you want to leave us with? I'm anxious to hear what the next one might be.
I think I recorded 3 more demos today, but those, I almost don't trust myself with those. What the heck I'll do on that? I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna put the lyrics from my phone down on the table, because that'd be really embarrassing to forget the lyrics at a songwriter's night, wouldn't it?
Hey, we've all done it.
Oh my gosh. Well, usually when it's your own song, you can make it up. No one questions it. I'm like, that's actually the lyric. I just changed it. Yeah. All right. Like I said, this is probably actually put it right here. This is actually, like I said, recorded the demo. I came from that session to this. So I wrote this with Kelly Archer. She's really good songwriter. She had Song of the Year last year with Cody Johnson, and can't remember the girl's name either. She won American Idol the first year, but yeah.
I can't help you on that one.
Yeah. But she's a great writer, and we recorded a couple of songs that me and her co-wrote together. She's probably the only Nashville person that I've cut songs that I've done with besides my dad. So this one's called "It Won't Be Me." It's about like everyone in their 20s. I've dated a lot of crazy people, and it was kind of, this song's, without making a jab at the person, it's like, there's someone for you. I know there's someone probably just as crazy meant for you, but it's just not me. Like I can't do it. So it's called "It Won't Be Me." It's a sweet song, but it's a breakup song without bashing the person. So it's called "It Won't Be Me," and I have a good feeling about this one.
Wanting you is easy, but loving you is hard. Don't wanna face the truth, but the lies got me lying awake here in the dark. And Lord knows pretending, so no hearts have to break. The more we get to know one another, the more I know that I can't say. 'Cause somebody's gonna love the way you love to fight. Somebody's gonna make a saint of your crazy side. Somebody won't have to change themselves to be everything you need, but it won't be me. You're a hell of a lover, but you sure ain't my friend. Wish I could make you happy enough without having to shed my skin. I don't recognize me lately, and that's a telltale sign that it's time to put this thing to bed and just sleep alone tonight. Somebody's gonna love the way you love to fight. Somebody's gonna make a saint of your crazy side. Somebody won't have to change themselves to be everything you need, but it won't be me. be everything you need, but it won't be vain.
Big Machines, Braedon Barnhill. All right. Y'all give it up one more time.
Oh, there's a big armadillo in the middle of a little old country road. An old brown bottle in the puddle of the cattle guard. A June bug beetle in the bottom of the bottle of the